Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports for yet another live stream. And here we are going to be talking about India versus England fourth Test match. Yes, the last Test match got over pretty quickly. You can say so because we expected the day came to go to day five, but it just did not happen. The bravado from the Englishmen really did not work when it comes to that game in Rajkot. But here we are in Ranchi to be talking about that Test match, which begins tomorrow. But all the anticipation, everything is eyeing on whether India can win the series. There is definitely something about the squad we're going to be talking about. At the same time, the English squad as well. England have already released their playing 11 as usual. But before we get into today's video, do not forget to check out Mad About Sports' course on cricket analytics. If you're new here, if you want to make a career in something which is related to sports, and if you have always dreamt about working in your favorite IPL franchise or with your favorite sports team, this is your opportunity. Check it out. The link is down in the description. But let's get straight into the video. Welcome Antariksh on the show once again. It's eve of another test match, and obviously we all have anticipation. We all have a lot of question marks as to how what the team is going to look like, how India is going to perform. What did you make of the last game?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it, and it was a baseball showing of all sorts, but from the Indians this time. So yes, it was nice to sort of witness that character, and especially from young lads. And I was very happy with all the debuts, right? I mean, all two, I guess, right? So yeah, Dhruv Jurel and Sarfaraz, both the debuts were very good. They
Yeah,
seemed okay. So when we talk about those aggressive players, and I've been a big sort of vocal guy about them, but I think we saw the difference the other day, right? Because none of the shots they played were rash, right? Like even if you connect a few rash
yeah,
shots, they don't look pretty well, and they don't seem very long term or very sort of that you could get on with it. They were
yeah,
all like whenever Sarfaraz played in the air, he played in the air in the gap. He was never,
yeah. Good point.
trying to muscle out his way or just playing on his ego like many a
Yeah,
times many players do. And like for example, I've been a big critic of someone like a Joe Root, who even when there are two slips, he tries to play that reverse lap. I don't have any problem with the shot, right? But I've seen him got out like four times now. I think
yeah,
thrice or twice in the Ashes and once here and once somewhere else as well. So,
yeah. The
and
World
my
Cup
problem
game against
is getting
Netherlands
out of
where
that
he got
shot.
like nutmeg.
Exactly. My problem with him is that there are two slips, sometimes three, and you still play that shot. That is sort of ego batting, like at its finest. So, anyways, but yeah, I mean, I loved that. I loved the character. I loved it from Yashasvi Jaiswal. I think England, after a point of time, were clueless, right? Like it was a
Yeah,
matter of time. Any ball that the Indians were playing was a bonus for England because all right in their dreamland they'd want to chase 600. It's baseball, blah blah blah. But I think the best result after India took a lead of 450 was a draw for them, right?
yeah,
And and I don't know what they were trying to do when they were bowling right under the bat when they were supposedly attacking, right? When India were on the lead of 450,
yeah,
500, all they did was got smacked on length
yeah,
balls, and they just had no clue. I think Yashasvi Jaiswal scored smashed five six sixes in the last part of his innings,
yeah.
rather than in the first 150 runs. So yeah, I mean, but a massive win for India, and let's hope we continue the momentum now.
Good point, especially when it comes to being reckless from baseball. That's what I'll ask you this point as well. Now, last game would have really shown them a lot of reality checks. I'd like to mention it because basketball has always worked in the right ways. When it works, it looks beautiful. I mean, let's talk about day two for that match and that test match, right? At the end of day two, 207 for 235 overs. India bowler shot without Ashwin to go into day three. We all thought this is basketball at its absolute best. But one mistake from Joe Root, and it just felt like a flock of cards, as we have seen it in multiple instances in basketball. Basketball has got two extremes. When it looks good, it is amazing. But when it doesn't, it's going to give you the biggest criticism. Like the Telegraph has already made an article saying that the most stupidest shot in the history of Test cricket from Joe Root. So that's how
Yeah.
it has looked like. But I just want to ask you, will that particular failure stop them by any means? I don't think so personally, but what do you reckon about it?
Yeah, same. I don't think ever like till Brendan McCullum's the coach. Even if you see a situation wherein Brendan McCullum is standing in front of a mirror and he's questioning like whether is this the right tactic or not. Now he's gone too far into it to back out anytime soon, right? Either the coach
Yeah,
has to change or they're gonna play the same way. But and personally speaking, I don't even want them to change, even as a neutral fan, or
Yeah.
even if I was an England fan, right? I think that's this thing that you've chosen. Good support and good faith being shown by the ECB into Brendan McCullum, because that's the way they're twitching their, again I forgot the name of their version of Ranji County, right? County,
Okay.
County, yeah, yeah. So they've also twitched that, for the benefit of players graduating from there to the English team. So good faith shown, and I don't think they're going to back out anytime soon from that. But yes, as we've discussed in the Ashes when we discussed that, and then now they have to have some tweaks, right? Okay, it was very poor from India as to how we let the first match go. But let's be honest, right? That one Ollie Pope innings, and then just, I don't know, a mental breakdown from India in the fourth innings.
Yeah.
That is what sort of cost us the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, they've probably been behind in all the three games, right? Like they've
Yeah.
gone on into good situations, and I'll accuse both the teams of this. All the batsmen have played some of the stupidest shots. I
Yeah.
agree with Telegraph there, but not just one. Many of
Yeah.
them just being so stupid shots, just getting out when they shouldn't, getting out on after being well set on the most ridiculous deliveries. So that is
Yeah.
something that there has to be sort of a tweak, and if they can tweak that, we've seen they've. I have to sort of credit Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett. They've always given them great starts in this series, right?
Yeah.
Like almost always they've delivered and they've given a good start, and barely have we seen any of our bowlers do something at least with the new ball, the pace bowlers, beg your pardon.
Yeah.
So it's only with the 25 over old ball is when Bumrah
Yeah.
starts to do something with it. But yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned about this, and you've hit the nail on the coffin, because I believe capturing the moments is so important in Test cricket, and I think them not picking that Rohit Sharma's catch when India were 43 for
yeah,
4, 43 for 3 or 44 for 3, that could have possibly turned the complexion of the Test match. If Rohit Sharma would have fallen, Sarfraz Khan walking in his debut 44 for 4, I mean, 1 all, it could go anywhere. But still, the series is still there to be won. There are still two more test matches to be played. England can still make it 3-2. India can seal the series here and go to Dharamshala with a lot more ease. So a lot of things to be spoken. But let's start off with the playing 11, because that's where England has announced their playing 11, as always. They have made two changes. One is Mark Wood is out of the team and Ollie
oh wow.
Robinson comes in. Secondly, it is Rihan Ahmed is out of the team. Shoaib Bashir, the off spinner, comes in. So I think off spinner primarily because our two ballers bowling in, and with Yashasvi's onslaught means they needed an extra off spinner other than Joe Root.
Oh wow. Actually, I didn't check the lineup for coming here, and this is a big surprise. Wow. So I didn't even know Robinson was in the squad, right? So okay. I wonder why Markwood is out. Like performance, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's just to give him rest as well. Let's be honest. He's not the most fittest cricketer in the world.
Yeah.
He gets a niggle after every second game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, his action doesn't help him. His follow through certainly doesn't. So yeah. But Bumrah is also, I think, resting this one out, right?
Yes, we'll come to Indian squad. Yeah, Bumrah is not there for this game as well. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, England do their thing again. They've gotten out with their squad, and fair enough. Good change. I think Ollie Robinson can bat decently as well. So it's a further addition there. I've sort of seen him to sort of bat decently, and but I don't think he'll be much of a threat. I mean, with his pace, I mean, he's a perfect English kind of a bowler, right? Like I'd say a right-handed, maybe Stuart Broadish, not very fast, but can hit the deck hard, and line and length can be good. But that is where maybe he could be that sort of trump card, because one thing that we've seen with him, he consistently hits the line and length. Like you remember a bowler like Vernon Philander from South
yeah,
Africa. He, I, I've never seen a bowler hit top of off so accurately, like so consistently. I think he's sort of that. Obviously, he doesn't hit the deck that hard, but yeah. So he's that bowler. And if the pitch does something, I mean, Ben Stokes came out with an absurd statement before even stepping onto the pitch that it's the weirdest wickets he's ever seen. I'm
yeah,
wanting that. I told you in the last stream that I really want a rank turner now. I really love those games, man. And I saw right when Jadeja or when Kuldeep. Oh no, Kuldeep. When Kuldeep was bowling that spell in the first innings, England couldn't. Like England just said we can't. So I was just wondering whether that tempted at least India to just try one rank turn. I want to see where this baseball goes.
Or you think it's just because India doesn't have Bumrah that India is going with this approach now?
maybe. Yeah, good point. I was gonna come to that. कि इतना हिम्मत तो नहीं है इनमें कि इनको बुमराह को भी रेस्ट दे दिया and then they'd have a pitch like the first three test matches. That'll take a lot of grit, right? So I mean, I think so. I think that could be a shortcut, but hey, it's our pitch, so let us at least have one rank turner. Come on. So
Yeah.
Anna Ashwin, we want to see prime Anna. So yeah, let's hope we can see some of the wickets he takes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with that said, we'll come to the Indian squad. As we already mentioned, the major news is that Jasprit Bumrah is rested for this Test match, and you've got Mukesh Kumar who's been added back. He just picked up a 10-wicket haul against Bihar in the Ranji Trophy. Obviously, Bengal did not make it through to the quarterfinal. That's a different story. But either ways, this is India's squad. You have almost every other player retaining their spot. Just that Mukesh Kumar is in and Jasprit Bumrah is out, and there is no KL Rahul as well for another Test match. So, which means India's middle order will still remain the same, and obviously nothing much to say. Maybe Rajat Patidar will have to step up a lot more with the runs. Who do you see making the playing 11 tomorrow? Firstly, who's going to replace Bumrah? Is it going to be Mukesh Kumar or is it going to be Akash Deep, who has done decently well in the domestic circuit?
I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be Akashdeep this time. I don't know. One because Mukesh Kumar has gotten his chance, and now, yes, he's done well as you said against Bihar. He did well, but that psychology of that he's just entered the camp and will not play him like they did with Sarfaraz. I don't know, something like that. So maybe Akashdeep could get his first one, and I hope he does as well. Right, Mukesh Kumar dekh liya to an
No, I don't think
extent.
Mukesh Kumar excites me. Or you saw that what happened in that game in Vizag, right? English batters targeted him. Like he went for 10 runs in an over at the stage. I mean, that's how
हाँ, मतलब
bad
it
he
was
was. And he
it
does
was
not
it
have the
was
pace.
बहुत बहुत बुरा लग रहा था after a point because it was quite visible how they were targeting him like pretty
Yeah,
evidently, right? Like their stand sort of got opened up when he was there, and they were actually ready to. So yeah, I mean, it was like the whole Indian team was cheering for him to get one wicket, right? Because it was like the 30th, 40th over, and he had bowled two overs. Or in the second innings, he didn't even bowl
yeah,
one for
yeah,
a long time. So yeah, I hope maybe it's Akashdeep. And as I said, right, in the most humbling way possible, even if Mukesh has a good sort of game, I can't really see an elongated test career here, right? So, anyways, it's going to be a short stint, whatever he has to play. So, maybe Akashdeep, maybe he has something. Maybe he can
yeah,
just show us some grit, some determination, some fire like that.
yeah.
I don't know where Natrajan went, right? Like he had
Mhm,
that. I really loved him. उतना तेज नहीं था वो उतना तेज नहीं था जितना वो लगता था. Like he used to
mhm.
seem someone who could click 145, but it was like 130, 32. But I mean that fire in the belly. I really want a couple more sort of fast bowlers to be sort of in that Shami when Shami goes out because obviously he's getting to that. So yeah, let's see maybe Akashdeep. But I really wanted Pattidar to sort of like at least have a threat to his position, but he doesn't seem to. So I think he'll make the 11. There's no one to replace
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think having said that, I think we should go to the main part of the day, that is WPL as well. We have to talk about WPL because that
Mm.
starts tomorrow. So this stream is all about India versus England and also WPL. So let's get into that part. WPL starts tomorrow. How do you see this particular edition of WPL? Obviously, it was the most awaited league last season because it was India's first ever league for women's cricket, and now you already have all the eyeballs raising for it. How do you see this league coming through this year?
Right. I mean, it's the second edition, right?
Yes, the second edition.
Yeah. So and the first match, I think it's going to be between Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's a big spectacle. It's obviously launched in as we discussed just previously. So I personally haven't been like an avid watcher, at least in the first season, but I'll really be looking forward to sort of witness it from the second season, at least like,
Yeah.
as a fan this time around, because I see the potential here, and I really wanted for the longest time a women's IPL to come through because you know what, this country is just crazy about cricket, and why not spread it out, and why not spread the wings, and maybe get some fruit out of it. So yeah, I mean, really excited for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just want to ask you one thing, especially when it comes to WIP. One last question, because we speak about WPL from a perspective of making it to the IPL level. Do you think there could be a lot of viewership coming into it? Last season, you saw stadiums being filled, but as genuine viewers, like all of us, how do you think everybody in the country could be excited for WPL as much as an IPL? When will that point come?
I, I mean that. See, okay, so I don't think one has to look at it that way at all, because it is a tunnel where you'd see no lights for like a long time. So you just can't go there. You can't even compare. You shouldn't compare, right? Even the 2008 IPL ka hype with what we have in WPL, simply because at least in the sports industry, we know money attracts money, right? So money is
Yeah,
what's gonna get you more money. So I think till the time we have an infrastructure ready from the root level, right? From the root level for girls in our country to be willing to take up cricket or just sport as a career opportunity with 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 like sort of fully fledged, right? And not no holes barred, basically. Like all of these things take time, and it's a cycle. It's not one dimensional per se. So everything has to be in place, and I think steps like a WPL are the right ones to be taken, because what that
yeah,
does is obviously, right, how many of us have heard really the domestic circuit for Indian cricket for women, right? So it's
yeah,
barely there, but this is going to give them a global platform. The same things we say for IPL, it's going to do at a much rooter and a much more functional level for women, right?
yeah,
Sharing the stage with Indian legends, with international players, international legends. It's just going to be amazing for domestic Indian girls to be coming out of the system. So yeah, I think it's going to be
yeah.
a big cycle, and I think we're going to reach there. The whole men's comparison shouldn't come into play, but just it just should be on the basis of WPL 1 versus 2, and then hopefully versus 3 versus 4, and that's how we should think about it.
But now you see a lot of other leagues, right? Like you talk about Big Bash League, you talk about leagues like the 100. A lot of Indian women also go out there and play. But can we say, because we are not the first mover like what we had in IPL? Because in IPL we had the first movers advantage, that we were the league which started, which everybody started copying it. Now
Yeah,
has that put us a little behind in terms of that, or just because of the franchises in IPL? For example, you have an RCB, you have Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals. So because of these reasons, can it still be relevant?
great point, bro. Great point. Yeah, I actually didn't realize. I knew it, but I didn't realize for the longest time that yes, we were the first movers in IPL, right? So yeah. So there's a saying, right? Either you be the first one or do it the best. So I think only the second option for us is left. And I think if there is one cricket board who can do it best, I mean, not by resume, but only by financial terms, right? I mean, our history doesn't suggest that we are able to do justice to the money that our board has. But hey, but if there's a new venture and there is financial potentially, Lilo, you just go in it for the finances of it. If you go in it and the franchisee model and the sheer money that these franchisees are worth now, if they
Yeah,
just put it around and if they can spread it, I'd say humbly, evenly to nahi hota, but as humble as they can be, I think there is good potential, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not the first movers, but sure be the best ones. So
yeah,
I think the hype there in WBL is very high, right? Like, I have, at least I like, right? Again, as I said, I wasn't an avid watcher of WBL 1 per se, but I have seen like 3 4 games of WBL till now. So I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why, but I have. So I think
yeah.
that really tells me that first movers
No,
advantage. Nahi.
another thing which I have to ask you is, because now a lot of people are saying that with WPL, Indian women's cricket will obviously improve. I think a lot of talents have come through, but I just want to know, because you've seen Indian cricket, it has been a very similar story like men team, right? They have choked in the most
Yeah,
unfortunate moments for India. Like they've come very close, then they've choked at the last one, Commonwealth Games, the World Cup final, T20 World Cup, multiple occasions. You think WPL, that ecosystem, or playing in this high pressure situation with some of the best players, like with the Australian players, like they know a lot of things. They know how to win these games.
yeah.
You think rubbing shoulders with them is going to help these women to at least know how it is to really capitalize that important moments in the game?
Yeah, I mean, one can only hope so, because at the end of the day, I don't think. Okay, so I don't think that they don't make a difference, but at the end of the day, when you're a group, like being a group in RCB and then being a group, you could have De Villiers, Gale, and Kohli there, but then being a group in the Indian national team, right? That's always going to be different. That is what I feel. Like, probably we have bottled more finals. Yes, we got to more finals after IPL, but just per se, I'd say that we've gotten more finals after the IPL has become popular. So till 2000, I don't know, 11 when we won the World Cup, right?
Yeah,
And 13 the Champions Trophy. I don't think IPL was that big, right? As compared to now, at least, right? It was obviously
yeah,
very big. So I'd say IPL जितना बड़ा हुआ पिछले 10 सालों में हमने तभी finals हारे उससे पहले we were winning. So you can't really pinpoint these things, right? So but we can only hope that all of these things just I don't think it really does much for the established players or
yeah,
someone who's already played 50 ODI, 70 ODI. It's maybe for the likes of like we saw Sarfaraz, right? They're not scared to play a ramp shot. They're not scared to play
yeah.
a sweep shot. If they get bowled while defending or if they get caught while playing a ramp, it's
Hmm.
it's it's it's, it's equivalent for them, right? कि हाँ मैं
Yeah,
out ही हूँ at the end of the day. See that
yeah,
bit of confidence is what IPL gives you. That is something that
yeah,
IPL gives you. Dhruv Jurel playing an uppercut to James Anderson as his first boundary in Test cricket. So no one would have heard before the IPL this sort of thing. So as
yeah,
much as it for the theatrics, it's also for the confidence that a certain person, a youngster, basically gets. So I think
yeah.
more on that side. But yes, maybe for women's cricket, who hasn't had the minimalist of exposures as of now, it's going to be the biggest stage for these girls to go out there and shine.
But do you think this issue which we spoke about with the national men's team, right? Like some of the players opting to just be league focused. Now with Indian women's team, you have an option to play multiple leagues. Like you can be playing in for Melbourne the Stars a week. You can go play in the 100. You can play. I think then you can play in the IPL as well. Do you think that's going to creep in at some stage, which we are worried because at least in India with the men's team, you only have like one league to focus on. That is the IPL, and still people are being questioned on commitment, and we'll get to that point because there's something very interesting which is developed. We'll get to that point. But what do you reckon about this particular issue?
At least in the short term, I don't think it'll be an issue because simply because the Indian men's schedule and the Indian women's schedule is like night and day, right? Indian men's schedule can't take a break, while women's schedule is pretty sort of, I'd say pretty spread out evenly, right? So I think they can afford that as long as they can, and as and when the sport will grow, the international cricket will grow. I think it's going to get tighter, and I don't think it'll be possible for players to move around countries and continents with these leagues and all of them. So yeah, but I think for the time being, it's good. You know what? It's good. It's good. When you have barely any exposure, I think the least thing that's gonna hurt you is more exposure. So just go out there and have fun. And we can't say the same for Kohli and Shubman. Ki they want the exposure of a Big Bash and of a South
Yeah,
African league or
yeah,
of the 100. But yeah, especially like girls who uncapped Indian girls or who've just been on the stage. And yeah,
yeah.
even established Indian women players, right? Just handling the pressure and getting the know-how of foreign pitches and everything just surrounding cricket. So good experience.
I think that's really helped as well for a lot of these young Indian girls. I think one of the names which really comes on top of my mind is Shreyanka Patil from RCB. I mean, this girl, nobody knew her before the last IPL. She had a very decent season with RCB, though RCB had a very poor season overall. She had a very decent season. Then she took that to the next level, played really well for India in the recent past, became man of the match in the series against Australia. Then if you look at the Indian women's test team for that matter, they've got some recent success to talk about. Like they defeated Australia, like defeating Australia, no matter you play home or away, defeating Australia in any game is a massive thing, and that's something which you have been able to achieve. And I think this all comes down post that particular WPL. There's been a lot of youngsters who have come out, and it's always been the case. Even in IPL, you saw like sort of Ravindra Jadeja make the next move after the first season. You saw these youngsters, right? Whoever has come through post that Shikhar Dhawan or anyone, they've all come through those ranks, but it is what it is. It's going to give you confidence, and I think it's only fair that you say that WPL has played a part in it. If you're going to say that, okay, WPL is just one other ordinary league, it won't be fair. I think it has played its part for them to make it to the next step and to play with a lot of confidence as well. For me personally, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more youngsters come up. I know the big stars will do well ultimately, and you'll obviously have a favorite team. A lot of people have, if you're a Mumbai Indians supporter, you would continue supporting Mumbai Indians. If you're an RCB supporter, you'd want RCB to do well. But I personally think it comes down to, at least for women's Premier League, you're looking out for talents. You're looking out for genuinely good talents, and it's always been the case. When though you have your loyalty, but you also want to see maybe this girl can be the next Mithali Raj or the next
Yeah,
Julian Goswami, right?
absolutely. And I think this is what it is. It's talent searching at its finest. And yeah, the favorites. Everyone would have their favorites. We're fortunate to have a men's and women's team as a franchise. Would probably continue with that. And I'm not that lucky to have my favorite teams playing for both the leagues. So I'd have to maybe pick a favorite, make
I
one
think you
favorite.
have favorite teams across leagues now. They have an Abu Dhabi Knight Riders.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
think,
we were the first movers there. So
yeah,
I remember
TKR.
hating Dwayne Bravo and as a kid, right, for Chennai, and then suddenly switching to 10 Sports and seeing him in Trinbago Knight Riders killing it for us,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
I was like, oh, I love this guy. So yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how it is. I remember Brendan McCullum playing for both the Colin Munro, Brendan
yeah.
McCullum playing for both the teams
Similar and
simultaneously.
Russell.
Yeah. So the both
I
of
think
them,
that's an
yeah,
ecosystem. I think you guys had a team in Abu Dhabi as well, which Russell and
yeah,
Narayan was part of.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that really works at the end of the day when you have an ecosystem. That's also a good thing. But talking about IPL, very interesting news talking about your team's captain and so Shreyas Iyer. He's been on the news for the last 24 hours for a wrong injury update which he has
I think, you
given
know
to
what?
Ranji Trophy.
At this point, if he's the sponsor, right? No, if he's the brand ambassador of Move, right? That'll just kill the game. That'll just kill the game. I think that will make Ajit Agarkar, Rahul Dravid believe कि हाँ यार सच बोल रहा था. Maybe
But
he did have that
how do you see this coming through? Because we had a elongated discussion in our last live, if you remember, on BCCI being coming with a very stern stance on you guys should go out there and play domestic cricket, nakre nature lenge. That's exactly the wording used by Jay Shah. But post that, Shreyas are complaining about a back pain, and NCA sending a mail out to BCCI saying that there's no such back pain issue. How do you see this now? Obviously your IPL team's camp starts in a week's time. Now you want to attend that camp because obviously you're getting a 15-13 crore deal is what I believe what Shreyas holds right now with the uh, um, Kolkata Knight Riders. So how do you see that? Because isn't it integrity which you can question? And you as a captain or you as a fan, how do you deal with the situation? I believe you put Indian cricket above the domestic cricket or IPL, right?
Oh, absolutely. But that is that is me thinking when I don't get credited with 13 crore in my bank account. That is a sad reality, right? We all try to sort of think. We're all very emotional creatures, right? We adore these guys. We worship that. We're very idealistic, not idealistic, idealistic, right? We want to make them idols. We feel that they think in the most positive, in the most flowery way, but that's not world, right? I don't support it at all. But the sad reality is, यही होता है. Like the world, the sporting world has become very lawyery, right? So he says back pain. How are you going to prove that he doesn't have it,
And it's
right?
a back
Yes,
pain as well. It's not a muscle injury, right? It's a back pain.
exactly that. You can't say that, right? कि नहीं है तुझे. Scan ने बोला कुछ नहीं है. No, I have back pain. How are you going to prove that he doesn't have it, right? He's going to be there with the camp in 2 days. So what? हाँ चला गया back pain. Like that's the thing, right? Yeah, chala. It's very subjective and it's very lawyery and it's very sort of
But I don't know
he's
how do you deal with it as fans of a Kolkata Knight Rider that he's your captain and this is integrated towards the nation. And this is
no,
what this is a
you
commitment
know
he's
what?
made.
It actually doesn't because had India been playing, that's the thing. Had India been playing the World Test Championship final, he would have been there. So it's not the integrity towards the nation. That is what money does when it's involved in a sport, and especially when you're an established cricketer, you have the
Yeah.
luxury because see, that's the thing. He misses a couple of Ranji games, which result in him missing one or two Test matches of the I don't know the England India series. But then imagine he has a great IPL. Who's gonna remember what, bro? Who's gonna remember what? And then you could think of BCC trying to take action. It's their own money source. KKR would sue them. हमने 13 करोड़ दिया, तुम क्या इसको बिठा रहे हो 6 गेम के लिए? You so it's like this is what money does, bro. It just yes, it gives you prosperity, but with your arms tied, you know, like towards the back. So you
Yeah, makes
genuinely
sense.
you can't. As a KKR fan, genuinely, I accept this. I know this. I make sense of it. 1 + 1 2. यही होगा. Had there been a if KKR is playing an IPL final and India is playing any final, obviously Shreyas Iyer would go there, right? It's a hypothetical world. So it's not per se ki integrity towards the nation. It's just the nature of the sport. अभी 16 करोड़ अगर एक टेस्ट मैच खेलने के मिल रहे हैं एबल और फॉर द होल सीरीज he'd go there. he'd go there. He'd go there because he'd owe the Indian cricket team 6 करोड़ पूरे साल के मिल रहे हैं उसको बीसीसीआई एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के. वो चाहे अगर साल में एक भी मैच ना खेले, he'd still get that. There he has to get it renewed everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's a very high stakes business. He could get 20 crore next year, something like that. So
Yeah,
that's the whole
exactly. That's a good point. That's a good point which you put. Yeah, you could possibly only get a higher add-on salary from here
exactly.
on for performing well. So it's a good point which you put. So finally, before we end it, who do you think will get a WPL? Any guesses, or do you have any favorite?
I know I'd go with RCB. You know, I'd really want them to lift one title. I would. I'm an underdog guy. I love underdogs. So yeah, it'll also make a perfect meme, and then also maybe some aspiration be fulfill ho jayegi, kuch fancy, and also
Yeah,
make a good meme
maybe at least
for
the
the
men's
YouTube.
team can get some motivation. You
Yeah,
reckon? Yeah.
yeah,
लड़कियों ने
yeah,
तो
yeah.
किया है, अभी now it's our turn to
Maybe
do it.
maybe Akai would give some, a good a good sort of moment for the team.
I
Who knows?
I think the kid is put under so much of pressure already. I
Yeah,
wonder
yeah.
what
I
his
think
career is going.
he'd surely turn into Rohan Gavaskar, bro. I'm surely he's
Yeah.
the second Rohan Gavaskar in the
It's gonna be
making.
so hard. I mean, that's where I feel bad for all these star kids, right? It's Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. or let it be Messi's sons or anyone. It's so hard to fulfill your father's legacy. It's so hard.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. It's not. They're generational. So and the
yeah,
expectation every time you step onto the field of why your dad did it, why can't you do it? So that's always
yeah.
been the case, right? It's hard for
Arjun
them.
Tendulkar, wonder where he is, man. He
Yeah,
would be in the camp from Indians. He would be there.
he would be there. I agree. And that's about it from us. Thank you all for joining once again. And do not forget to check out our courses, Mad About Sports, if you're new here, because this is your opportunity to make a career in cricket analytics and get some really good package. Remember, there are some, luring packages out there, and this could be something which you can really make a career out of because a lot of people have had ambition to work in sports, be a cricketer, but maybe you might not have been able to fulfill that. But here, maybe studying this course could be a kickstart to your dream career. Check that out. The link is down in the description. Have a good day, all of you. And don't forget to like this video and also share this with as many people as possible. See you all very soon. Bye bye.